And we are live. Terrie, I'm so excited to be here with you.
Hi, Monique. I am very delighted too. And I am getting to speak with Monique Alvarez, and she is the founder of AMA Publishing, and she is an alchemist at the Abundant Life. And I'm wanting to share it to my page, and I don't
let
see.
me make sure. Let me change the audience so it's public.
Okay, because I don't see it coming up on your thing.
Okay, so there we go. It should be ready now.
Okay. No, I don't see it.
Maybe if you just refresh the page, it looks like it's global now.
So,
maybe if you just refresh the page.
Shoot.
It looks like it's global now.
Okay, let me try it again.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
Tell us where you're joining from.
Okay, we are now set up. And this is just like live theater, which is what Monique got to do. Okay, and I gotta turn this off so I don't get replay. All right. Okay. Hello. I am Terrie Silverman. I am the founder of Creative Rights Workshops and Coaching, and I'm so honored and delighted to be interviewing Monique Alvarez, founder of AMA Publishing and The Alchemist at the Abundant Life. And we are here because it is the 1-year anniversary of her phenomenal one-woman show. And the first question, the biggest question is, why did you decide to do this? Why did you decide to do a 6-month process to develop a one-woman show in my masterclass?
Okay, so there's a few different reasons, but I'm going to tell you the first and most real reason is because I saw you post a picture with a goat and you had that Terrie smile. And I just thought, I have to know this woman. I want to spend 6 months with her because I know she's going to be fun. I know that she's going to bring something in my life that I don't have. And after we started talking, I'm in the business of self-expression, and I had written so many books and I had done so many things in my business. But to tell you the truth, I had got a little bit bored. I had systems for everything. Everything was streamlined. It was almost to that place where I was doing what I was really good at and what I had mastered, but I wasn't doing anything that put me at like that baby beginner, novice, full place. And I knew you'd put me there. I knew doing a solo show would take me completely out of my comfort zone, and it did. But I needed something to challenge me. I needed something to be different. And I also wanted to take time to look at my own story. I championed so many others, and I thought, I want to take the time and energy to do this for myself, because I've seen what it looks like when people always take care of others, always serve others, always heal others, always promote others, and they don't offer the same to themselves. They end up extremely depleted, resentful, and wondering what the heck they're doing. So I just wanted to take that time for me. And it was a lot of time. I mean, we would meet together for, I don't know, what was it, 3 hours a week?
Usually the class would be 2 to 3 hours. Yeah.
So it was, I would set that time aside, and every time, I'd make my tea, prepare my space, and it was like, this is for me.
So it was almost a self-loving act.
Yes, it was.
And how did you navigate the fears and the doubts that came up?
Ooh, oh my goodness. Sometimes minute by minute. I mean, if I remember right, our calls were on Thursdays, and it would, of course, be that I had blocked my calendar. I actually blocked my entire Thursday because I had to prep myself before coming into this class. Number one, I was with people I didn't know who were, I perceived as very different than me. I wasn't with business owners. They were very different. And I had to be able to go, okay, what am I most afraid of? Because I would feel it coming up, right? Oh, I'm afraid they're going to not like what I do. I was in a class with people who I think almost everyone in there had done a solo show before, or they were like in the New York or LA scene. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to look like an idiot in front of these people because I have no idea what I'm doing. So what I would do is I would create rituals. I'd go for a walk. I'd have a cup of tea. I would just be with myself. I just talk myself through it. And what if it isn't good enough? And what if they don't like you? Then what? Are you still here? Are you still okay? Can you be okay if people don't get what you create? I just walk myself through that. I probably consumed like 10 tins of Rescue Remedy, a lot of chamomile tea, a lot of scones. and I would take a nap after your session because I just have to right. I went out there, I did it, and then I just process it and relax and rest. So it was just a lot of like what you said, continuously taking care of myself, continuously walking myself through. Because it was never not scary. That's the thing I think people forget. It's like, it's never not scary. I mean, if you're waiting for a moment when it's never not scary, good luck. I don't know when that time arrives.
And so through this process, what did you learn and discover?
Oh my goodness. I realize now, a year later, that your class was really my training wheels and practice ground for taking extremely good care of myself, honoring myself, doing what I wanted to do over what others wanted me to do. It was like a whole year of all of that being confronted. And just when you think like, oh, I think I already passed that test. I think I already established that. And then it comes back around and you're like, oh, this is just the next layer and iteration of it. I also discovered how much fun it is to take time for creativity. And what most people, I think, would just be like, that's a waste of time. That's foolishness. Like, well, what's the point of that? How does that make you more money? All of those things that adults don't make time for. And yet, they're stressed out as could be. They're self-medicating all day long. Our country is on like highest levels of antidepressants. And yet we refuse to be kids. We refuse to play. And I realized how important it was to do that, how fun it was, how freeing it was, and how it actually just helped me create new pathways, explore new parts of myself that I just didn't even know was there.
And so one thing that I know is really important and that I put into everything that I do when I teach and I coach is play. Because that is so important, because we get so conditioned to having to produce and then it has to be good. So you were able to tap into playing.
Yeah. And that was the best part, right? Is doing something and it not having to be good. I can't tell you the last time I did that. Like everything I do, it has to be good. If it's not good, it hurts my reputation. It damages relationships. It costs me money. Like that kind of pressure every freaking day for years on end. I didn't realize what a toll it had taken on me. And then, we're just surrounded by people who do the same thing to themselves. So then we do it to each other. Like it has to be good. If it's not good, I don't want it. If it's not good, I'm not going to pay for it. If it's not good, I won't make the time for it. I did so many things in your class that were not good at all. And they were so fun. Like you would have us draw things and, I'm drawing like I'm a 4-year-old again. And it was just like, oh, and then I'd have an aha moment in that drawing and I'd go, oh, there's something there for me to notice. So being able to do something and it not having to be good, no one's grading it. No one's telling me if this was, if there's going to be an ROI on it and all that. It was such a relief.
And so as a result, what changed from doing this?
A better question would probably be what didn't change. Absolutely everything changed. Actually, the work you did with me and the questions you asked, you asked questions that no one ever asks. No one had ever asked me. You took time to help me navigate things that I had never unpacked. And all of a sudden, I realized, oh my gosh, I was always the straight A student. I was always the good girl. I was always going to make sure everybody knew that I deserved to be here, that I wasn't a fuck up, that I wasn't a waste of time and space, that I wasn't, whatever. I was going to make sure like I did it all, right? And in your class, I realized I had checked off all the bullet points. I did all the things, achieved all the things. Oh, wonderful. Yes, you're successful. And then I just realized I didn't freaking care. I actually didn't want it anymore. And that was a lot to navigate, because it's also the other side of that. Well, look at you. I mean, everybody wants this. You should just be grateful. You should just keep trucking along like a good soldier. It doesn't matter if you like it or not, if it's fulfilling or not, or if it matters or not anymore to you. Like, you just keep going. Who wouldn't keep going? And so what I got to do is say, you know what? I did all the things to prove myself to whoever the heck I was proving myself to. And now I was just ready just to live my life for me.
And therefore, what happened? So that
I left my company. I'm no longer the CEO of Alma Publishing. I spent most of the entire winter walking, napping, writing, and figuring out, okay, well, if I'm not proving myself to others and I'm not going to be, whatever X, Y, and Z identity that I have been, who would I like to be? What would I do with my time? Which led to, when spring came, I'm working with flowers and plants and got a table at the farmer's market. I've now taken over my mom's health food store. And most of all, like, those are the outer things, but I think most of all, I'm just back to the essence of who I am without all of that layered on top of me.
So major reckoning, rite of passage, rebirth, and renaissance. Yeah. And how did telling your story impact you? And what did you get from being witnessed?
Well, as you know, I really almost bailed at the end. I was just like, nope. I have pushed myself as much as I can push myself. I was obviously hitting all of these buttons and seeing all of this. And so I thought, you know what? It's good. Good enough. I don't need to perform this. And you and I had a few conversations. I went to a Joe Dispenza thing right before I did my performance. And I remember sitting on the porch, like, looking at myself going, if you don't finish this, if you don't get up on your farm table and do this, then you still care. You still care about what everyone thinks. You still care what they think of you. If they're judging you, approving you, you're still there. And that's been the biggest point of this whole process, is to let that go. And when I got up on the farm table, and I actually forgot some of this. I've been going back and
so I just want to tell everyone who hasn't seen the show, she's being literal, not metaphorical. She
right?
has a huge farm table in her living room, and that became the stage. She stood on top of it, and that's where she did the show from.
Yes. And I remember when the time, like, we just decided we got to set the date, because that was the thing too. It was like, it's never a convenient time. I felt like, we had a book launch the day before, like an international book launch the day before I performed. I had my brother-in-law staying with me on vacation while I performed. There was like all of our hot water heater busted, like, right in there. Do you remember all this? I mean, it was literally like, if anything could go wrong or be like another thing for me to do, it was exactly when I was supposed to perform. In fact, Terrie, you probably remember I was doing a charcuterie board for my boys 4 minutes before I went live. it was like that kind of thing. And then when I got on that table, it felt like I was on the top of Mount Everest. I felt like the most brave, happy, liberated person ever. It was just the biggest victory. And I needed that. I needed that as a touchstone because there was going to be more mountains to climb. And that's what it was for me. It was just like, you did that, you can do this.
And what I also saw in that last week, something completely kicked in where you went from, all the normal, natural fears and resistance to you really got into play. How did you do that? And what was the catalyst?
The thing is I would say being an adult, like, what does it mean to be an adult? You take everything so freaking seriously. Everything matters so much. Like in our own make-believe mind, it matters so much, right? And I just remember having this realization. I just kept getting on the floor, getting on the ground, kept going out with the kittens, kept going out with the kids, kept going to the river, kept going into nature until I got, it wasn't that serious. And if you take everything so serious, you are going to shrivel up and die. And if you can just have fun with it, oh my gosh, number one is going to be more fun for everybody. Then I can actually be so in it, and it could just, it's just a different feeling versus another thing I check off the list. Yes, I did that. Okay, excellent. Nature just kept bringing me back. Being with my boys kept bringing me back. It's just like sometimes we just forget the frivolity. Like I remember one day, this was right before I performed, I took the boys to the swimming pool, and they do these breaks every hour, kind of force the kids to get out, get water, whatever. And they have a snack bar, right? And everything at the snack bar is like awful. Like, we'll just say it. It's just total crap, right? And I remember the boys asked me, Mom, can we have one? And I was like, yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have one too. And then the next break, they were like, because they're like, Mom said yes. They're like, Mom, can we have another drumstick? What the hell? Let's have another drumstick. We had 4 drumsticks at the swimming pool that day. And that's the kind of stuff that broke me out of that serious adult pattern. Nothing changes if we don't change. We have to completely hijack our patterns, our habits. And that's what I did leading up to the performance. I just went full tilt, crazy kid. If I was 7, I'd have 4 drumsticks at the swimming pool. Yes, I would.
Because what I saw was there was so much joy during the entire performance.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and the best part is once you do that, I didn't give 2 shits about anybody else when I was on that table. I didn't care if they liked it or not. I didn't care if anyone came on the Zoom. I was in my own world, and I was just having the best time ever.
So completely liberating.
Completely liberating.
And because it is Monique, it was actually the largest audience I ever had for a graduation workshop performance for the Solo Show Masterclass.
Well, I had a lot of awesome people come support me.
And what did you receive from telling the story? What did you get?
My goodness. Here's the truth. To this day, I still receive messages from people going, that show really helped me so much. It taught me what I could do. It inspired me to do X, Y, or Z. You helped me see something in a new way. To this day, I get this response. And the thing is I made the decision not to do anything business related in that show. I never mentioned my business. I never referred to anything, right? Anything like that. And of course, it was just like a giant magnet. So many people moved toward me. Lots of clients wrote their books with us. Lots of
because they saw the show.
They saw the show, and lots of people decided to start their own publishing company. A lot of people decided, I'm going to honor my own creativity. And actually, the coolest thing of all is I made friends through it. People who could actually see me beyond, the hat I wore and the mask I wear for others, but get to the soft center of who I am and what my life has looked like. And so it led to a lot of amazing friendships.
So right now, where you are, what do you want to honor and celebrate in the fact that a year ago today that you did this?
I want to celebrate the continued evolution, right? It's like that's what most people don't realize is like that was such a victory, and I was completely satisfied and full. And then I just didn't even realize how it would keep going. That there was so much momentum that was created from that. I'm celebrating that I can be me outside of anything that I do for others, outside of any amount of money I make, outside of any achievement that I earn. I was thinking about this morning, probably the number one thing that has happened is when I went through this whole year evolution. My income, I make about a fifth or sixth of what I used to. And I made this decision that money would no longer be the benchmark for me. And like, being an American, that's like, it's not really how we do it. And I asked myself one day, if you never concerned yourself about how much money you made or what having a certain amount of money means, if you never worried about money again, how would you use that time, energy, and focus? And that's radical for me. I'm channeling all of that into other things. Like yesterday I made apricot jam all afternoon and evening, and like it was just the most magical, delicious time. It's like I finally got off that treadmill. Because what I learned is it doesn't matter how much you achieve, there's always more to achieve. It doesn't matter how much money you make, there's always more to make. It's the never freaking ending thing. And I got myself off of that. And that just feels like, I don't know. I just feel like I could die a happy woman.
Mm. So there's so much daily joy. Why do you think someone should do this? Make this, develop a standout story or a one-person show?
Mm. There are so many reasons. But one of the things that came to me this morning is if somebody has any sort of connection to who they really are, why they're actually here, to the time that we're living in, if anyone has any sort of spiritual connection, some sort of awareness of where we're going as a society and as a collective. We often talk about how we want something new. We want a new earth. We want a more sustainable, loving place to live. The thing of it is nothing changes if we don't change. And if we all just keep operating on the system as it's been, the system will remain. And I think when we take time for ourselves, that's radical. When we take time for our creativity, that's radical. When we explore, we get off the busyness and we explore what's actually within us. Oh, what do I believe? What do I know? That's radical. When we dedicate time and money toward things that we can't pinpoint, like an ROI or a this, that, or the other, when we actually just start going back to honoring our experiences, our wisdom, our life, and wanting to do something with that, wanting to cultivate it in a way, wanting to distill it down in a way that we have something to express and pass on to others, so that then other people can remember that's within me too. When we do all of these things, that is turning a corner that we haven't been able to turn for thousands of years. It might seem ridiculous, but the thing of it is if we do something different, and this is radically different, and we get to the core of who we are, I think people will find, like I did, you can't live in the same way. You cannot look through the same lens. You cannot make the same decisions. You cannot retain the same values. And all of a sudden, life opens up to you. So what I would say to someone who's considering it is, you're never not going to be scared. That's going to be with you through the whole thing, right? And whatever story you have to tell, it hasn't been told the way that you can tell it, because no one's lived your life the way you've lived it. And if you want to find the most joyful, fulfilling, blissful moments, if you haven't had those, if they've been far and few between, this is like immersing yourself in all of that throughout. Because while there are challenges and fears, there were moments of just like pure bliss that I had not tapped into for so long. That's
what would happen during class time.
During class.
And I guess then after class too.
Yeah.
So I think we also just heard the first few minutes of your future TED Talk because of just such a visionary you are. And I think no matter what you're doing, there's such a quality of absolute inspiration. And I know that that's what people got from hearing your story. And every time you speak, that there is an invitation. And I just can't believe how lucky I am that I got to do this work with you, and what a blessing it's been. And, you know, in the title of your show, Honoring the Dishonoring, I think there has been so much honoring, and then the domino effect of the self-honoring and the reminder for everyone else to do it. And as Monique knows, it is the joy of my life to be invited into people's stories. And I don't take it for granted. And it's such a privilege. And it's so soul enriching and heart opening. And the most profound way we can connect with each other is through our stories. Any last thoughts?
Yes. I want to take a minute to thank you, because nobody took the amount of time with me that you did. Never have I had that with anyone. And nobody went where you went, because you saw beyond my title. You saw beyond my identity. You saw through all the veils and all the masks. And you took me places I could have never went alone. And you went through all of the highs and lows with me, and you kept bringing me back, bringing me back, bringing me back. And you helped me discover who I really was, not what I could do, but who I was, who I am. And, you know, of course I have to get you and Julia and bring you to Colorado.
Julia is my Chihuahua.
She must come too.
Yes.
I'm just forever grateful for you. And I don't know anyone who takes people through their story, takes people through their experiences, who facilitates the way that you do. You're an absolute master, and you are so much heart and soul and love. And because you have so much love and compassion, you also will not allow people to shortchange themselves. You will not allow them to take the easy way out. You will hold them there until they're ready to navigate that next layer, that next story. So I want to tell you, thank you so much.
So, bless you. Thank you. Yeah. And just feel so lucky and just so happy that our paths crossed. And I know both of us feel like this, that it goes so deep and that we will know each other forever.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when we connect through story, because it opens our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much. Congratulations. Make sure, if you have not seen Monique's One Woman Show, it is on YouTube. Go to Monique Alvarez on her page, look in the comments, and you will find it. I mean, look at the advertisement for this interview. I'll also put it on my page. And if this is something that feels like a calling for you, my next masterclass starts mid-September. I also offer it as a one-to-one, which means that you can do it just 1 hour a week, so you won't be in a group class. And connect with me. Happy to do a connection guidance call if you're interested to talk about it. And I really mean this for anyone. I always want people to know they have a voice. And I would be honored to jumpstart your writing and your storytelling. So if you just want to contact me for that, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for doing this. Congratulations. And I know there's going to be more stories to come.
Yes. Thank you, Terrie. Thank you, everyone. Until next time, here's to your story. Bye.